I didn't want to stand way back there. I don't feel close to you then, so I wanted to come up close and personal. So, good morning. I love the month of October. Trees are changing colors and it's getting cooler. And it's my birthday this month. And Hans's birthday this month. And I'm sure there's several others, but that makes it very special for me. October is very special. This October, we are exploring our commitment to God, to ourselves, to others, and to our spiritual home. Our theme is living abundantly, love circles of connection and community. And that's what the after the service, that's what Reverend Patty was talking about. Those are circles. We have all different kinds of circles happening all week long. We have our Wednesday night service, which we connect with that. And we have our women's group and our men's group and shifting so many places to connect with love and community in this center. So my title for today is More Than You Were Looking For. More Than You Were Looking For. And this topic came from our Joyous Living Journal, which we've been using all year. And I just want to read a few of the things that it says. And this is truly the truth. People are often led to search for the kingdom of God because of some human challenge. I know many, many people that have come to this center because they were hurting or they were grieving or there was upset in their life in some manner, and they came here and their life changed. So there might be a need for wellness, financial security, or healthier relationships. Boy, don't we all want that? But you must understand that all you seek has already been given. All your needs have already been met. And nothing has been withheld because it is ever available to you. What we are seeking for, we're seeking with, and that is the Spirit within us. This makes total sense. This past 3 days for me has proven that it was more than I was looking for when I came here in 1989. I invited 6 of the children that were from the World Orphans Children's Choir to stay with me during their time here when they performed on Friday night at the center. And their performance was just dynamite. They're just so full of love and joy, and we so enjoyed having them here Friday night. But I have received more hugs in the past 3 days than I have received in 6 months. And I get a lot of hugs. But these kids, every moment they walk up, I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And it was just absolutely wonderful. And then, of course, I got to bring them home with me. We had dinner together, breakfast together, and then I would pack their lunch. My mom helped me make lunch for 15 people. And when they left, each one of them drew me a picture and some of them pasted flowers on them and just saying that being with us here at this center had changed their life. So it was just so wonderful. So it was more than I was expecting. I get so much love. Also, when I travel, I like to travel with someone. I like to share what I'm seeing, don't you? I mean, when you're going by yourself, it's nice and quiet, but sometimes that's really good. Uh, but if you see some beautiful sunsets or the leaves are changing, my daughter and I took a trip back east maybe 8 years ago just to watch the leaves change. We took all the little, they call it the blue lines on the map. We didn't go on any freeways. We saw the most spectacular sights back east. It was absolutely beautiful. But it wouldn't have been the same if I was by myself. So we want to share our good. We want to share our joy. When we seek spiritual awareness and when we awaken to knowing that we are connected with our source, with spirit, with love, with intelligence, with Buddha, with God, with Christ consciousness, whatever you want to call it, it really doesn't matter. When we connect, something wonderful happens in our life. If we were originally looking for like peace of mind or a new career or more money, all like that, or more love in our life, we create that experience. We do it. God, through us, creates that. But truly, we have received more than what we were looking for. We have learned to receive from the unlimited abundance of the universe. Reverend Bruce, when he does a spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer about abundance, he always says lavish abundance. And it always lifts me up. And I have taken that from him in some of my prayers. I like to say lavish abundance, but he's been saying that for years and years. So thank you, Reverend Bruce. Thank you. So we have learned to stay in the flow and circulate our good. If we hold on to it, it does no one any good. A few Sundays ago, Dr. Heather did the best demonstration of the law of circulation. And I think we're going to do it again for those that missed it. So everyone take a deep breath and hold it. And hold it. And hold it. All right, let it go. So that's what happens when we stop the flow. When we stop the flow of our breath, what happens? When we stop the flow of anything, it stagnates and it stops where it is. There's no movement. There's no expansion. There's no moving forward. Years ago, when we were at the other location in San Juan Capistrano, I think it must have been about 12 years ago, I wrote an article for our newsletter at the time, and it was called Tithing with Gratitude. So I want to share a few of the highlights from that article, because I feel the same way today. Nothing's changed, really. Tithing to me is an act of joy and gratitude. It is the acknowledgement of the abundance and the blessings in my own life right now. Tithing is also an act of love. For as I give out of the fullness of my heart, the universe responds by filling my experiences with more abundance, more health, more financial prosperity, better relationships, and many other areas. A few years ago, I had a wonderful opportunity to teach financial freedom classes. Actually, it was when Dr. Heather first came in 1999, our board, I was on the board at the time, and they said, we need a financial class. I said, financial freedom's a good one. So we met at 6 a.m. in the morning, because that was the only time that all of us, with our jobs and our different things we do in our life, could meet. We met at 6 a.m. until 9, once a week for 8 weeks. And we all came and we all were there. And it was wonderful. So financial freedom was a really wonderful class for me. And it certainly, then I write on, it certainly opened my eyes and my heart to the true meaning of giving and tithing. I learned that when I tithe my treasure, which is my financial abundance, it is called gracious giving. Whereas which means giving without expectation. whereas charitable giving has a specific purpose attached to it. Charitable giving. Tithing is a state of higher consciousness, a consciousness of faith and trust in God. Then I go on to say earlier this year, I attended the 4 T's of Prosperity class. I attended it twice. I really loved it. We had to say, I am prosperous. That was our homework. 200 times a day. 200. And so I would drive to work, and that's all I would say. I am prosperous. I am prosperous. 200 times a day. And believe me, your consciousness shifts at the end of 8 weeks. You just walk around, with this high, this great high. So I went to that a couple times, and also went to the 5 Gifts of an Abundant Life. That was a wonderful prosperity class. So it just shifts your consciousness. And every time I took one of those classes, I had unexpected income. I just love how that works. I tested it, and it worked. I know that today I am an instrument for God's good to flow through me, and that God is my source. After I took those classes, I want to tell you, I created an affirmation for myself. And I wake up every morning and I say it, and the last thing at night, I also say it. And this is it. I am open and receptive to the abundance that is mine to have and to share. I am open and receptive to the abundance that is mine to have and to share. It's really quite a powerful affirmation, and you can have it if you like. I'm willing to share my good. So it truly expanded my awareness of the principle of tithing, and also knowing that Spirit moves in and through my life as abundance. And that was my article 12 years ago. And like I said, I still feel the same way. In the King James Version of the Bible, Malachi 3:10 says this: Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house. And prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. Then the new version it's clearer to me, and I'll read that one because it made more sense. Same verse. Bring all the tithes into the storehouse, so that there'll be enough food in my temple. If you do, said the Lord, I will open the windows of heaven for you. I will pour out blessings so great, you won't have enough room to take it all in. Try it. Put me to the test. Put me to the test. That's what it says. So about 14 years ago, this center put it to the test. And we started tithing the full 10% of all the money that we receive. So Reverend Bruce told me yesterday, a couple days ago, he says, I love it that we tithe 10%. Then if I'm sitting at home and watching a baseball game or something, I know that my money's doing some good work. So that's the truth. It's always doing good because we tithe back 10%. Edwene Gaines, who is the guru of prosperity, she says this: the real purpose of tithing is to acknowledge God as the source of all good, and that we are aware and grateful for the good in our lives. That's the purpose. It's a feeling. This home that we own is a demonstration of that principle, the law of circulation. We have this beautiful sanctuary, all our wonderful classrooms, our kitchen, our multipurpose room, everything is because we believed in this spiritual law, and we practice it, and this is what we receive. Mr. Steve Burton, who is the Director of Operations for the Center for Spiritual Living up in Golden, Colorado, which is our parent organization. He was our guest speaker at our appreciation dinner this year, and he gave us some great ideas about our finances. He said you take 80% of your finances for your living expenses. 80%. You take 10% and you give it back to yourself. I like that part. That means I have 10% for spa days, retreats, you guys fishing trips, vacations for your savings, whatever you want. 10% of your total income comes back to yourself. And then 10% is for tithing to the source of your spiritual food. And it's not just tithing money, it's tithing friendship, love, your talents, and your time. This whole universe is based on the law of circulation. And it's our job to accept the good that is coming our way. Dr. Christian Sorensen down at the Encinitas Center said this: when you are confronted with good that you cannot imagine, whether it be a healing or unexpected abundance, or maybe even a happy relationship, and you couldn't believe it, who would have thought? You have stepped right to the edge of your belief, and you are now confronted with your unbelief. Here at this moment is where your faith ends, when you're going, I can't believe it. Spirit can only give, provide, be, or do this much, but no more for you. This became the limit to the amount of good that you can experience and accept when you stop it there. If you want to experience and accept more life, greater abundance, and a deeper meaning to life, you have to see and feel that abundance. Feel it within you. And you have to stop saying, I can't believe it. I said that for years when something good would happen. Finally, Dr. Heather looked at me. She says, you have got to stop saying that, because you're a minister now and you have to believe it. You know, you've got to believe it so everybody else can believe it. So you have to say, oh, it's a no thing. Of course it happened. Of course that good came into my life. Of course I'm abundant and I'm happy and I'm joyful. Of course. And we have to accept our good. We start saying, I accept my good. So let's say it together 3 times. I accept my good. I accept my good. I accept my good. Didn't that feel great? Yes, it does. So you can use that mantra for you this week. Made me think of something. When I'm talking about a feeling of abundance, it's a feeling. A couple of weeks ago, someone came up to me and they said, I talking to someone, and I heard that when you lived in Nevada City, that you were dirt poor. I kind of took me up, and I used to play in a fondue restaurant for my meal, and I had 2 little girls, 4 and 6 at the time, and I played guitar one night a week, and they would pay me by having a dinner, and so I would save that dinner. I wouldn't take it the night that I would be playing guitar. I would save it up for the month, and then at the end of the month, I'd take my 2 little girls and we'd go to the fondue restaurant, which was we were so high class, and we would have fondue dinner. I played the guitar in a bar, and then I worked at the cable TV system also for $2.52 an hour. But I want to tell you, after this person said this to me, I went to both my daughter Carrie and Julie, and I said, did you feel poor when we were in Nevada City? No, Mom, didn't. I never felt poor. I mean, we couldn't go out to dinner every night, and we didn't have a whole lot of money. And it was a real blessing when my mom and dad would come and visit, because they'd take us to the hardware store and we'd get all those essential things that we didn't get all year. It was wonderful. And then they'd take us out to dinner. It was great fun. But I never felt in lack, ever. I always felt the fullness because I was happy. I was happy, and I had my kids, and I was joyful, and it's a feeling. Believe me, your prosperity, your abundance, it's a feeling. So this law of circulation requires you to make room for what you desire. If you will hold on to something so tightly, you are exhibiting fear. And by that holding on, you will find it eventually slipping away. And it also takes so much energy to hold on to that. Let it flow like the river. Let it flow. Let your good flow. So let's think about, how do we receive? How do we give? Where can we be a better receiver and a giver? I'd like to show you a short video. This is Esther Hicks channeling, talking about Abraham, and this is about tithing.
Are we supposed to tithe for our prosperity? You know, Catherine Wonder keeps saying that you should give 10% of everything you earn. Is that a requirement? Does it help more?
Well, there are no requirements. The reason that tithing sometimes is effective for people is that if you have this feeling of abundance, and you've practiced that feeling of abundance enough that it really is the way you feel abundant, then first of all, more abundance is coming to you. But in that feeling of a never-ending flow, there is a lack of resistance. If people tithe out of responsibility, that very well could be an outside the vortex experience. And so if you're outside the vortex, it's not going to be beneficial to you. If you're inside the vortex before you offer your behavior, then it is always beneficial to you.
So if
we
you feel
encourage
like
you to tithe your clothing account, or tithe to your vacation account. It's the feeling of well-being that matters. I'm so prosperous that not only can I meet all of my responsibilities and have money to do the things I want, but I have extra money with which I can do other things. The attitude of, I will take money that I have received and give it to those who don't have any money, is almost always an outside the vortex experience, because now you're focused upon their shortage or their inability to tend to their own well-being. So there's no right or wrong about any behavior. It's how it feels to you. If we talked earlier about this feeling of control, and how control is always an outside the vortex experience. If you need to control something, then you're outside the vortex and things aren't happening easily for you. And wrapped around that word of control is the word power. In other words, I'm trying to find my power, but still outside the vortex. When you release resistance and you find your alignment, which is where your empowerment comes from, then it's a whole different thing. We're using almost the same words: power, empowerment. One's outside and one's inside. And you could take any subject in the world. The word doesn't matter, the behavior doesn't matter. It's how you feel as you offer it. Are you individually in the vortex as you offer your tithe, or out of the vortex as you offer it? That's really the difference.
There she goes. She talks about the feeling. She talked about the feeling of what it was like. So this being our last week in our pledge month, it's now, you have the opportunity to make your pledge to this center for 2015. Now, many of us have already put in our pledge cards at the appreciation dinner. And I just want to tell you that I always get such a wonderful feeling of joy when I fill out my card, because I know that it's growing and expanding this center, and it's touching more people's lives for good. So you were given a little card when you came in the door, and I'm just going to explain it a little bit to you. So because sometimes it just so you can make it clear. So, pardon? Does everyone have one? One of these little cards? Okay. Oh, there are some in the back of the chairs. Oh, okay. All right. Then the first side, it's an easy one. Gives your name, address, phone number, etc., and your signature and today's date, October 26th. On the other side, it says step 1, check one of these. This is my first pledge to this center, or this is a continuation of my ongoing support. You just make a check of one of those. I plan to support my spiritual center financially in the amount of, and you could put $10 a week, $100 a week, $1,000 a week, whatever amount. Remember, there is no big or small in God. A commitment is whether it's $10 or $1,000 a week. Our board of trustees plan our budget, our 2015, with your pledges. So we plan all of our things that were going to be happening that year. And so it's truly important that we kind of have some kind of a ballpark of what we're going to be receiving for the year. So then there's steps, so you can put per week, per month, per year, and you circle one of those after you put your amount in there. Step 3 is to check one, is I am a tither, I give 10%, or I'm on my way to being a tither, I give something percent. In financial freedom, we started out at 3%, and we all did 3%, and when we felt comfortable with 3, and we, like the Bible said, we tested it and it came back, then we moved on to 5%, then we moved to 7%. So it's really all up to you. Or the third place is I'm a committed giver, and I just commit to give this on a regular basis. And then the last one, it asks for envelopes. If you want the envelopes, you can, or you can, they'll give you envelopes for the year, or you can just put it in the basket. So after you fill out your card, or if you want, you can put it in the offering basket, or if you want to pray on it or meditate on it for a while to feel what you want to give or commit to, you can take it home and then bring it back next week or whatever. So I want you to repeat after me the way I say this. I am prosperous. I am prosperous. I am prosperous. And you are. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Another moment. Feeling that joy of God within us. That intelligence, that awesome magnificence that lives and moves and has its expression through us as lavish abundance, as joyful living, as perfect health. For we truly are the sacred activity of this beloved energy. That presence which is divine lives and moves within us, expresses through our words, our thoughts, and our feelings. And so it is with great joy, thanksgiving, and gratitude that I say thank you, God. Thank you for this time together. Thank you for each person in this very room. Thank you for the joyous living. And thank you for my wonderful financial abundance. And so I place these words into divine mind where they are already created, just as I believe. And so I release, I let go, I let God, and I anchor this treatment in love. And please say with me, and so it is.